and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Bren Show.
So funny to me.
Woo!
Yes!
Yes.
I won. All right.
Great success.
I
was
second a camera gets in my face, I'm so just
What-
so not myself.
How old were you when Borat came out?
I could not tell
Were you even born, I wonder? No, you would have been born because that was like
Possibly.
mid 2000s.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like
Have you ever seen Borat?
I did when I was like 4. It was another one of those movies I should not have watched.
Yeah, that's a little early.
I just feel like he's such a faint, distant memory in my mind.
Yeah.
My entire life is just Borat. Anytime I'm scared, I just think of him, It just pops in
as
my
you
brain.
should. When I was in high school, me and my friends just obnoxiously quoted Borat and Napoleon Dynamite. Those are like the two movies we just relentlessly were quoting.
That is the greenest flag I've ever heard. I feel like I've gone.
That is some teenage boy.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm just thinking. I feel like my entire life I have said that the biggest green flag ever is if somebody likes Napoleon Dynamite. I will not fuck with you if you don't like Napoleon Dynamite. I'm so sorry.
No, that's a modern cinema masterpiece.
I know. I remember when I was working at a hotel a couple years ago, it got really awkward, and this guy that was working there was like, "So, what's your favorite movie?" And I go, "Napoleon Dynamite." And he's like, "That's the most dumbest, stupidest movie I've ever watched." I'm like, "Okay, I have to leave the room." Wrong. Opinion. Wrong.
Opinion invalid. Opinion voided.
Try again later.
Try again.
I just identify with it so much. I felt like that was exactly who I was in high school. Or
100%.
If not, that's who I strive to be. And yeah. That's all I have to say.
It's like, it is the way, the cinematography of it. I mean, obviously the writing and, acting speaks for itself, but even just the vibe of how it all looks, it's just such a vibe.
I think one day I would love to just make a short film inspired by that, and just even for my music or something, just something has to be like that in my life at some point. Between that and Wayne's World,
yes,
those ultimate comfort movies. But I also think I do have such bad teenage boy humor that will never leave, no matter how old I get.
I mean, it makes you relatable. Everybody can connect with you. Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's just so good.
Yeah, no,
so
a short film that is a concept video in tandem with a project.
Exactly.
100% would be amazing.
Gosh.
Concept album. Napoleon Dynamite concept album.
It's like Scott Pilgrim versus the world, but it's just Napoleon Dynamite versus this brown small child from a place most people don't know what it's called. The whole title I think is good. I think I should do this at some point.
Yeah, we're capturing a moment of revelation.
Isn't that
creative?
Isn't that just what I've made? Isn't that just my EP and album? Is that?
It's basically your identity.
It's pretty much just that. Inspired by the whole thing was inspired by Wayne's World and Austin Powers. Just so
I can hear it.
Knows.
I don't know how I didn't hear it until just now.
Do peer pressure. That's all from that.
Yes.
It's so bad.
Love it. Well, on that note,
Yeah.
does it make any other sounds? Part 1.
I won. I know.
It's out there. We did it. You did it.
It
How's
feels
it feel?
So good. It feels so good. We've talked about this so much already, but it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like I don't really have to talk about who I am. I feel like that really is just like a piece of myself that I have put out there. And I feel like it does give me the confidence and strength to show that side of myself without like, I don't know, like back to the teenage boy thing. It's hard for me to, say how I actually feel and, emotionally like be mature about things. And I feel like I'm pretty, I don't know. I'm just happy it's out there to show people and
I mean, it's sort of been a lifetime in the making.
Yeah. No, I know. I feel like a lot of the songs on this part 1, I feel like are more of like the more recent side of things, which is really cool. That's like the first one we're putting out, and then it's just kind of like a full journey throughout the whole project. I won't say too much, but I know it's like so hard. It's so hard for me to like not just drag other parts in, but I don't know.
Well, let's give a little glimpse of what people can expect.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, as the title says, part 1. But I'll let you explain where this is heading.
So, well, this is like, I feel it's definitely been done before. I don't know if there's anything in music that hasn't been done before, but it's super...
Hasn't been done this well, though.
No. Thank you. I'll let you say that. I'm not going to be the I'm not going to be conceited
validate
yet.
that. I can verify
I'll
that.
I'll wait a couple years.
Outside source verified.
I'll have more experience on my, belt, and then I'll be like, "Oh yeah.
That's
fuck
fair.
you." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I
just let the work speak for itself.
Thank you.
I respect that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But the first song I wrote on here, I was 16, which I've been writing since I was, 11 years old, I think. Definitely before that. I remember singing one of the songs I first wrote out on the playground in 2nd grade. And it was, once again, this edginess that I perceive in my music, but am not at all in real life. Yeah, I mean, this is so off topic, but I feel like I should. But it's called... Did I talk about this on the other interview I did?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was called Daddy's Little Girl. And I was saying, I'm not Daddy's little girl anymore.
Amazing.
It's like... Yeah, I think I was like, I'm not Daddy's little girl anymore.
Just ready to whoop some ass.
Imagine me, bald-headed little girl, pretty much, on a bench, screaming
that sounds
at
hardcore.
people. Yeah. Oh my God. I made hardcore happen. That was me.
The Wayne's World Napoleon Dynamite concept album, hardcore album.
It's all me. It's already been done.
Coming together.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I was... Well, I don't know if you probably don't know about this, but do you know about Lemonade Mouth?
No. Inform me.
Oh my gosh, I think I talked about this as well, possibly, on the other interview that I did in LA, which is so funny. So now my entire career is going to be based off of the movie Lemonade Mouth, the Disney original. But
remind me.
It's like about this kind of like different outcast. It's almost like the Breakfast Club, but musical version for like 2000s kids.
Okay.
It was like right along there with like camp rock and like
And there's music on it?
yeah, and it like you
Wow,
should go
this
and
flew
listen to
under
it
the
because it's
radar.
actually like so good. But that was absolutely everything.
Was there
to
anybody
me.
like big in it?
I don't know if you know like Bridget Mendler.
Might
my
be too
goodness.
old.
Hey, it's okay. I'm getting there.
I was
One day
watching
at a
Borat.
time. Hey, I was watching Borat too. I guess.
At 4 years old, so
It's
yeah, you were ahead.
fine.
You've always been ahead of your time.
I don't. It wasn't a good thing. It was not a good thing that I was the movies I was watching at that age. I should have had more restrictions.
I
it's
started
fine.
watching R-rated movies pretty early too. Some of
Yeah.
them also probably shouldn't have seen, but you know,
It's good for the
we're
soul.
here. It worked out
I'm here.
generally.
I'm here, and we're talking about my music, so that's good.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got a fire amazing album. So
I'm so
know.
excited. Yeah, and like, this is why you need to keep me intact because I need to like not trail off in every direction my mind leads me. So give me
that's
that.
what we do on
Okay.
the podcast. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
actually perfect.
By the way, first time. So hello. Hi.
Welcome to the Ben and Bren show, Jessiqa Jones.
Heck yeah.
This is actually our first remote
Yeah.
interview.
Should we tell them why?
and we'll get, so Jessica was here down in LA, had an awesome trip nonetheless, but Jessica got quite sick. And it was sad. Everybody
I
was sad. It
Want
was
everybody
unfortunate.
to feel bad for me and
Yeah.
send me wishes
And money.
love and money. I
All of it. And chocolate and
will only accept over
and-
$10 just because I feel like anything under $10 is just
useless.
that's useless and
It's useless in today's world.
yeah.
Could barely get you a coffee.
My Venmo will be right here.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
But
Contribute.
I'm happy
It'll
to
be well
finally do
spent.
this though.
No, this is been a long time coming, and what
Yeah.
a better occasion to be doing it for.
Yeah.
The release of Doesn't Make Any Other Sounds.
Crazy.
Part
By the
1.
way, literally I think it's like 3 years around 3 years now that you like DM'd me.
Yes,
Which is
so
kinda
we
crazy.
could give a little bit of that story too. So I met and discovered Jessica. Yeah, it was right around 3 years ago, and I was just going through music on Spotify, just trying to find some great stuff out in the world. And in my opinion, there's so many good things out in the world. There's like a lot of good stuff, and it's not, in my opinion, that unusual. But it is very unusual to be like going through this playlists. All of it's good, all of it's fine. None of it's like bad, but it's, in my experience, rare to come across something that has that extra unexplainable, hard to put into words element.
I
But
appreciate that.
when you do hear it, there's that extra thing that's like, oh, this is different. This is special. This
That's crazy.
has a depth to it. And I found one of Jessica's songs, and it was like, oh shit, this is different. This is special. This is also to the idea of like, good is great's worst enemy. And there's so much good, and no disrespect to good, but also like maybe a little disrespect.
Well, I
Just kidding.
appreciate that so much.
But no, yeah, and Jessica just I could tell was and is special. But at this point, hadn't met her, talked to her, whatever, and went on Instagram, and I was like, I messaged you, and I forget exactly what I said, but something to the end of
Yeah.
found your music, and it's amazing. Would love to chat or link or make music or whatever. And you were at the time signed to another label.
Yeah.
And so we stayed in touch for, I guess, like the next year or so, it probably was. And then we had just been chatting off and on.
Yeah.
And then you sent me It's Milk, Don't Cry, which is off now out in the EP and was the first single off of the EP about a year ago.
Crazy. That's crazy.
And
I did not know that.
Crazy. And almost a year ago. I think it was like March last year that
we're
it
almost
came
there.
out. And
That's crazy.
and you sent me a demo version of it, and I was like, this is so tight. I was like, and it was different too, because the music that I was familiar with of yours was more of the R&B
Yeah.
pop sound, and this was like, shoegaze, alternative sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I have to, at the bare minimum, like I have to like play some drums on top of
Yeah,
this.
oh
This
my
is
gosh,
just like
yeah.
too fun.
That's
And
all.
then-
Yeah.
And then cut some drums, and then it just really all, long story short, unfolded from there. And I think it was about the end of the summer where we had then talked about collaborating with our label, Rockosaurus Records. And I
Reap
was
the
like,
merch.
I would be honored if I know, because I remember you also were not interested in getting into another
Yeah.
venture. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to shoot my shot. Like, let's just put it out there for if there's any odds that Jessica would be down. And so gratefully you
Hell
were.
yeah.
And it's just been so fulfilling and fun and just exciting to be
I know.
able
It's
to
been so good. It's so good.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning. I mean, this
It really
like
is, which is so crazy. Like, there's just so much to look forward to, and
completely.
my biggest thing was, I mean, that was like my first rebellious stage, and apparently it was anything, but like I believe like 19 when I had that first single come out. No, I was 18 when that first single came out. That
was that Rehab? Was that the first one?
Rehab.
Okay, yeah.
Which is really great song. I think my biggest thing was I just wanted to do everything. Like, I wanted to do everything, and I wanted the option to do whatever I wanted. And, you know, and there was just so much music that I grew up with, you know, and I think a lot of people, you know, have just the most random playlists. Like, it's rarely, you know, the same thing on, you know, like solely R&B or solely rock or solely, you know, this or that and stuff. And I felt like it was more of my nature and more human to be able to explore whatever it is. And, you know, and if it does become like the next album that I put out is a full pop length album, then, you know, like, that's great because I'm going to love doing it, you know? And, but I wanted the option to explore, you know, and similar to what, you know, the album is about and the EP is about, is I wanted to go through every phase that a teenager goes through, and I want to be able to do that, and I want to be able to share the art that comes out of, if I want to be emo, like, and that was the closest to emo I got, but we'll see, like, when I'm 30 and, decide to go that route. But, but
That's how you got the emotions out.
Honestly,
like we were
I'm
saying
so
at the
down.
beginning.
Do you know how down I am for that? I'm so down.
I mean, that's like what I grew up on.
Oh, yeah, you
I was
did.
a little like the punk, emo, hardcore
So good.
kid.
So good.
We could make a insane
I think I
emo
should just have an alter ego
project
for that. Completely.
We're getting a lot of good ideas on this
We should just do this more
podcast.
often.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Conference room
So good.
brainstorm.
So good. It's so good. What would her name be? Like,
I don't know. That one we'll have to.
Jonk John.
It's a vibe.
Jonk John.
That's a vibe.
She's gonna
like the alliteration.
It's gonna be soon. She's coming. So watch out for that.
It's
But-
that's inevitable.
Jonk John. She's on her way. But yeah, no, I felt like I was kind of trapped in a box a little bit, and like obviously no hate at all, but it was just kind of one of those things where I wanted to explore everything I could, and which I was already doing. Like I had fully produced and made that song in my bedroom at my parents' house when I was still living with them. It's Milk Don't Cry. And I felt like anybody I sent that to was kind of like, oh, this is really great. This is really, really, really cool, but it's not you. And I was just
Well, it's like, well, I've made it, so
I think it is me.
Wouldn't it therefore
Yeah.
be me?
Exactly. And it's
But-
like, I don't know, like it was like the first, I mean, there were definitely a lot of songs that I was like, you could tell were like leading to It's Milk Don't Cry that I had made. Like with the bridges just being very like messy and like chaotic and loud, and I love that feeling and always have. And I finally just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I've been too scared to cross that because it's not me. And I just did it, and then It's Milk Don't Cry was born. And I was still a little bit embarrassed because it was uncomfortable. And then that song kind of sent me into a place where I now just love being uncomfortable with the music I'm making. Like, I love being uncomfortable with it. And so I feel like, like, I don't know, should I talk about, like, the alternative side and the pop side of the album?
Yeah, totally. No,
Yeah.
let's give the people a taste of what they can expect.
Yeah, so, this is kind of, I wouldn't say they're phases, but they kind of are phases because, I'm not going to grow out of them, but they're going to be a part of me. They're going to still be a part of me.
Yeah, they're chapters.
But they were, exactly it. It was a chapter of my life in which I was kind of rebelling against because I was told, like, that's not you. And so then I made like a bunch of those kind of songs. They're all very different in their own way, but yeah, I made It's Milk Don't Cry, and then the first time I went down to LA and made music with you, we made Freeze and Flight, which is very different from It's Milk Don't Cry, but it's another one of those just like, rock anthem type, like just classic.
Such a banger.
Yeah, I think our whole like purpose was we wanted to make like a timeless sounding rock song because I think that was kind of like what I don't know about you, but
Yeah, I mean, Freeze and Flight, Enemy, like these songs. I mean, they're just like you just said. They're timelessly great songs. They're
I would love that.
truly
I would love to hear that.
well crafted, timeless bangers.
I love it.
And I think that's what we really captured. I mean, when going into a creative setting for me, it's like I just through my experience, it's kind of like you just sort of let the art do its thing.
Yeah.
And we're sort of just the vessels and the gutter rails of that, sort of.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what we did with Freeze and Flight and Enemy, and you did with the other songs. It's like they all are truly authentic and honest and real. And I think whenever you go into a creative environment with like an intention of like, we're just going to allow something great to be made, I think that's when you're in the space of potential of something really great to happen.
Right.
And so the framework of like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and this is going to be this and this is going to be this. In my experience, that doesn't usually work out. It's
Right.
like you kind of have to let what's simmering underneath the surface just come up and just get it down. And I think that's what we did. Like when you came down with Freeze and Flight and Enemy, it's like we just want to make something fucking awesome and fun and feel good, and then thus these songs were born.
Yeah, I think honestly, Freeze and Flight, I think we made most of that in like a day. Like the actual structure and the lyrics and stuff, because I just remember you and I still have the voice memos, but it was like a 45-minute long voice memo, and it starts with you like playing on the guitar, and then by the end of it, like we're fully going through each verse and chorus, and I'm singing on top
amazing.
of it. And
save that for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're gonna want that.
I am getting too hyped up. I am genuinely going to be the most conceited asshole in the next couple years.
Please
I'm just
do,
kidding.
because there's too many terrible people occupying that energy. So we need like Jessica has, which you will be able to hear by the time this comes out, some acoustic versions, live acoustic versions of some of these songs, and so go look them up. But as I was doing a little mix on them, I text Jessica. I was like, I was hyped up myself. I was like, you need to save the world.
Hell yeah.
Because it's just so, you just have such a magical artist spirit. And I think that the world is so compromised with that right now. I think the people that have the microphones, a large majority of them are piece of shit human beings. And we need to like fight back against that with
fight the evil,
love, and and so we could be confident and not be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do.
Well, right now I am not confident and a piece of shit. So I
disagree.
No,
But
I'm just kidding. But I will say like, I can't stop doing it, and I will forever do it, even if like every obstacle comes about. Like the other day when my eardrum almost ruptured on the plane back here. That was a moment for me where I was like, yep, well, I'm dramatic. So that was bad.
That sounds pretty serious.
So I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like, we'll get through it. I did get through it. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. I'm a baby. It was fine in 2 days. But eye-opening.
I mean, bleeding out of your ear wouldn't be the most great, wouldn't spur the greatest feelings in that moment.
No, it wasn't my favorite, but it is what it is. But yeah, no,
Like you said, you're here. You made it.
yes, I'm all good now. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely am just super proud. Is everything okay?
No, you're good. I'm just opening this screen back up. But no, keep going. I'm listening.
Okay, no, you're good. I also have to adjust this because I cannot hear myself or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, no, oh yeah, back to the phases and the chapters and all of that. But yeah, so EP1 is more of just that era for me with just like pop rock or shoegaze and grunge and all of those influences that I felt like I was being told I couldn't do, and I still made them. And then obviously then I sent it to Benny, and he was the first one to not be like, hey, maybe not do that. And my dad also like did local grunge bands here, and you know, he was super proud of it too. And everybody in my life was like personal and that cared about me and cared about like my music and what actually made me happy was like, that's so sick, that's so cool, Jessica, like that's so different from anything you've done. And I was like, you know what, I need to keep doing this. Like I need to keep furthering what I want to do, even though it's not conventional and not really, especially, you know, like what I look like and, you know, my voice and all of this and all the things, you know, it doesn't make for like a seamless artist, I guess. And it's like, not to be a poor me, but it's also just like that is what I dealt with. Like, it's just, it was annoying and I felt like I had to, you know, I don't know, I had to abide by that, you know, because other people knew better than me and I was a, you know, kid and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I pushed past it and I kept doing what I wanted to do. And now it's out there officially, which is super
and it's
cool.
fucking awesome.
And I'm so proud of it. Yeah.
It's so good. And I mean, someone could say I'm biased, but it's also just, it's objectively fucking great.
I'm
like,
just happy to hear
it's-
that. Hey, well,
it's
you helped it.
really, but even if I didn't, like it just has that quality. And
Appreciate
and that's, I think, the most important thing you can do as an artist is to follow your instinct and follow
for sure.
your guiding light. And there will be, like you're saying, so many people to try to distract you from that. And even if they're supposedly on your side or whatever, it's like you. And I think whenever you get sort of pushback like that, I kind of think that's almost a good sign.
Yeah,
And that is
yeah.
like, that is the direction
For sure,
to go
for
in.
sure. Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like at the same time, like haters on the internet. Like if you get people like sort of responding even negatively, passionately,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that
It
you're doing
resonated with
something.
you.
Yeah,
Maybe not
you're
in a
doing
great way,
something.
but
Yeah, but it's,
I have your attention, which is all I wanted. I'm just kidding.
straight up, exactly. And I think this EP completely achieved that set of criteria.
Definitely, I'm so glad to hear. Yeah, I mean, it's just for me, and also like working with you, and now having that, like, you know, not saying like, oh, I guess the power to just not feeling like I'm gonna fail just by not making a great song. Like it's just one of those things where I feel like I have the space and the freedom to do whatever I want whenever I want, because that's what an artist should be able to do.
100%.
Always. And I think the second you hear it all the time, and it's also just like, it's not just music, it's in everything. It's in everything. If you put a box or you try to, restrict what it's supposed to be naturally, then I feel like that's when it's doomed to not, what's the word I'm looking
100%.
for? Just doomed to not be as good as it could be.
It's already being compromised of its true potential.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you do that.
Exactly, yeah. And I felt like there was another, part of my insecureness where I was constantly feeling like, because I wasn't trained vocally or trained how to produce or had all this experience under my belt and blah 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 and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing what I want and I'm still getting it done. Because I'm just letting it flow. I'm just letting it come out of me and what I want. And like, there were so many times where I would freak out and I would throw stuff and I would cry and like, because I was so stuck in this box of like, it needs to sound like this, it needs to be a catchy pop hit, it needs to be this and blah blah blah. And it's like, that was the most and worst writer's block I've ever had, was just wanting to fix what was just natural, like just and it's like, and I, in my opinion, that was when I wasn't making the music I wanted to make, and like what I think is sick and what is cool and what I would listen to. And and I mean, it has nothing to do with genres either, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even like, like, I hate pop music now. Like, man, like, it's not like that. It's just that if that's not what I want to be doing in that time period, then it's not going to be real. It's not going to be me. It's not going to, It's
not going to be as good as something could be.
Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy. And I feel just so lucky to be in a realm of the coolest musicians and coolest people now, and that respect me as not just a singer, but like, I also didn't know that until like 3 years ago, that like, yeah, this isn't just, I'm not just like a singer, like this is what I love to do, is more like production and writing and all of this stuff. Like, I didn't even realize that, even though I've been doing it since I was, like I said, like 7, like seriously at 11 though, but it's like, been doing this for so long. It's like, I just now realized, because I wasn't ever really shown that was, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't something that I was told was like, yeah, that's what you're doing. And it's like, yeah, that is what I'm doing, is I'm like composing and writing, and I love to do that even more than singing sometimes. And it's like, that was pretty much thrown under the rug, and I, like, now I get it. Now I know what I want.
Completely. So. That's all part of the growth, I think. And I have my own sort of relation to that in my own journey. And it's all, it's that idea too. It's like, you only know what you know at the time. And sometimes it just takes putting yourself out there and keep walking down that path towards the light, even though you don't really know where it's going, and you can't really make the predictions, but you keep going, and you discover more about yourself, and you discover more of who you are, more of what you love, more of what you want, more of what you don't want.
Exactly.
And the only way those things sort of start to take shape is by just keep doing more and keep walking forward and trusting that inner voice and that instinct that's down there, and not listening to those outside voices that are like, this isn't you, and blah 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 blah. And there's so much of that out there, and I think to some extent that's kind of how the system is shaped in a lot of ways, and just fall in line. But it is the people like yourself that have really powerful inner voices. It's really important to listen to that versus everything else.
Right.
And you shape who you are, and not to allow not to say that we're all influenced. That's also inevitable. Like
100%.
Scientifically, like it's part of being a human being, but also staying true to the self versus appeasing other people.
Exactly. Also, just closing doors that want to be closed and opening new ones is the biggest thing I've learned. Is
and
when it's
trusting,
time, it's time.
And trusting yourself in doing that, and that's what we call healthy boundaries.
I don't know about that one.
That's an even longer work
I'll get
in progress.
into that next time.
Yeah.
10 years from now.
I think these are lifetime practices.
Very hard. Yeah.
But yeah, and you're on your journey, and being in the position I am, it's just super exciting and fun, and just fulfilling creatively, and we also just have a great time outside of making music. We're just hanging
fun.
And
we got
gotta have fun. Gotta have fun.
We got the memories.
Straight up.
Yeah. No.
And yeah.
Definitely helps to just feel, just not judged, and there's no pressure. Like I feel like that's the biggest thing I always hear with like people wanting to start to make music and or start anything, is like there's just so much pressure about what other people think. And it's like, for the longest time I didn't show anybody nothing. That was all for me. That was all for me.
Yeah.
That was all for me to like it was a very much a therapeutic thing, and I feel like most musicians and artists and everybody feels that way a lot about what they do. But yeah, it was very lonely. I was by myself a lot growing up in my bedroom, and I definitely just filled all my time with that, and I was okay with that. I was totally fine with that because that's what I needed at the time. And now it's definitely branched out. It's still very therapeutic for me, but it's definitely more of, I don't know, just something that's not that I'm not filling my entire time up with, but it's still super creatively fulfilling and just fulfilling in general for me. And that's what a lot of this is. I mean, you get to feel like with the EPs and the project, I'm not going to keep saying so many things, so many titles. But you can definitely, I feel like, hear the growth and just what being a teenage girl going into adulthood is kind of like. And I feel like also just anybody going through different chapters in their life. That's what that is for me, and that's why there's so much going on. And something I said was, it's just, there's nothing seamless about anything. And I felt like, back to what we were saying, is I felt like everything had to be seamless and perfect. And there's not really much of that on these. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, like, that's also part of the journey too, is actually being out in life, having things to write about. I mean, if you're not out in the world and experiencing, it's hard to really be a truly expressive artist, because it's like the life experience and what we all go through is the fuel for all of that.
Right.
And growing up and coming into adulthood, it's like you're going through so many different experiences, and that's shaping who you are, and the music then is expression of that. So to that end, as far as the narrative content of the EP, what are some of the themes that you find to be present in the project lyrically?
Yeah. I feel like I just was the most insecure teenage girl like ever. Like I wouldn't say ever. It was more just internally. Like I was very stuck in myself, and I was just so scared to show anybody me and who I am and who I was. And I felt like that's a very common theme of just being scared to let people in and allow love and safety come into your life. And I feel like I'm now at a point where I feel like for the first time in my life outside of music, where I feel stability and a sense of self and more, I would say, yeah, like more confident and just like, yeah, only allowing positive things in my life. And I feel like everything, like dealing with so much growing up and having to process that all, like after, in the later parts of my teen years, there's a lot of darkness there. And I feel like that was a huge common theme of especially like the alternatives, side, which by the way, part 1 is the more alternative grunge side, and part 2 is going to be more of like, the pop fun R&B stuff that I still love and that we're still making even now, which I'm so down for, because it never goes away.
It's in the works.
It never will be something that leaves me. Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of themes of me just, I don't know, like growing up and learning to let light in, and that it doesn't have to stay that way. Like I'm in control of my life now, and it's not, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the feeling is very evident. There's a vibe on each side of these EPs that you can feel, and I don't know. It's a really fulfilling thing to look back at for me, with just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna say I don't know like a million times during this, because I've got to process things.
You're getting into the
I know, I'm processing it all still.
It's good.
I'm still processing it all right now.
Well, that's also one of the great powers of art, is like it gets into that stuff that we haven't totally formulated into words.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's like it gets down to that subconscious.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's like it's kind of a step ahead of the, sit down and formulate all of it.
Oh my gosh.
And
it's always so scary sometimes when that happens. I like
Well, it's like the left brain, right brain. I've said this on another episode. Like,
Yeah.
I used to work a lot with an artist, and he wrote this line that has stuck with me all these years that I thought was so sick. But it's also how I think about, or how I remember, like which side of the brain does which, as far as like creative versus analytical.
Yeah.
And the lyric was, left brain walked while the right brain flew.
Oh, that's
And
crazy. Yeah.
it's so sick. And
That's
so
so
like
cool.
left brain is like the,
Oh man, yeah.
conservative, kind of like formulaic, and then right brain is like the creative, sort of expressive, exploratory side. And so a lot of this is living in the right brain and then getting it into the left brain to like sort of just put into a succinct description is like they're not so explicitly linked. It's like you kind of have to break it down to then kind of get it into words.
Crazy. It's so crazy. I don't know what's ever going up, on up there. But it's just
that's what we're all always trying to figure out.
We're all trying to figure it out, and
the brain is all of our own matrix.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading this
scared.
book and
we all scared
are. And that's kind of what he was saying. He's like, you don't, like in the Matrix, like Neo escapes the matrix of like the computer, but then you're kind of in just a different matrix once you escape that one. Like the real true overall matrix is our brain.
I know.
Like we're trapped within our own mind. And like escaping that is really what would be escaping the matrix, but it's like, is that even possible?
Oh man, we're going too deep. We gotta reel this back in before I'm just gonna, it's gonna get really awkward. I'm gonna walk away and you're just gonna get really confused and no, it's
mysterious. Good. Leave the people guessing. Come back for more.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. That's cool. No, but I mean, it's so true. And I honestly, I don't know. It definitely feels like with the songs and stuff, it always just, it knows before I do, like what's going on in my head. And I'll just let it out. And then it's another great thing about all of these songs is just boxing a feeling in a part of my life and letting it be out there, and then it's done. Just being able to let go of the pain and everything and put it all in one feeling. And that's definitely like what It's Milk Don't Cry is about. That's definitely what Know Your Worth, My Pretty Girl is about. A lot of just pain, but letting it go. We're done with it now. This Old Dog was very big on when me and my parents were evicted from my childhood home. So lived there for like 14 years. And that was, that was just moving out and, having that be such a staple piece of my life in which like there was just so much like pain and anger, but also, that's where I grew up, and like that was where like I got my record deal during COVID. That's where I graduated in like my bedroom. Wow. That's where like because of COVID as well, and all the dogs and animals I had there that are, this sounds really bad, but they were buried on the property, and like, it's just like there's so much of me going away with being evicted from that house. I thought, for some reason, even though my parents were renting it, like I thought I was always going to come back there and, visit when I'm like, old, and then maybe one day I'll live back there again. And it's like, No,
Totally.
that's not what's happening here. And so that's kind of what like this old dog's about, is just kind of talking about like once you let go of something that's not meant for you anymore, how much your life will change. Which is kind of like also what we've been talking about too.
Yeah.
So weird how it all comes together. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all growth, you know?
Yeah, growth, discovery, and that's kind of like in my sort of from my spot, kind of what it kind of reveals itself to be is, yeah, growth, discovery, self-discovery,
Yeah.
and like you're saying, like representations of a time or a moment or a place or a dynamic or a relationship, or it all is a narrative in the revelation of all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and like you say, it is that's also the magnitude of art. It's like it's hard just if we're relying on our own sort of conscious mind to be like, yeah, we're gonna express this feeling, and then we're gonna express this feeling, and then it's gonna be this big thing. It's like that's I think almost nearly impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
you just let the magic be the magic, and you sort of then take what all of that is, and it's like, okay, then we'll package it this way and market it this way.
Yeah.
But it's like the expression is greater than our own sort of conscious ability to
100%.
compartmentalize.
100%. Yeah. The second I let go of trying to create a concept and create like exactly what I wanted. Like, even if it's something I do want, like if it's exactly something I want, like if I'm forcing it and, just trying to get an exact thing. Like, I mean, there's been times like where I've written the same song in 3 different genres, or, tried it out in different things. And it's like, if it's not working, it'll come. But
Yeah.
just trying to force it and, have this thing be, I don't know. It's just super weird. I don't understand it.
Forcing things just doesn't, in my experience, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's like you can work towards things and, have ideas of what you want and what you want to do. But it's like you really got to just get on the path and let it go.
Yeah.
Where it goes,
Yep.
and like go with positive intention and love and not fear and all of that. But it's really, it's greater than us.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of that can come down to the need to control and the desire, the security, and the concept of control. But it's like, that's sort of an illusion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we really don't have all that much control over anything.
No, not at all.
And
no.
and being okay with that, that's like that's a practice in and of itself too. And sort of allowing that to be is, not just so simple of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna let go, control, and not care. It's like that's also kind of part of being a human and staying alive, is like need to control my environment. But it's that's a big illusion, I think, in
100%.
most ways.
I know. It's definitely the biggest thing I have learned with anything music-wise or anything, is just it's not really up to me. Is like kind of something I've realized, and I feel like that's the opposite of what I heard a lot, is like, you need to just keep working hard. You need to keep just doing it and doing it. And I'm like, I don't want to say I'm part of the generation that doesn't work hard, like, because I know that's what a lot of people think, but So maybe that is just that, I don't know. But I have noticed that when I'm not, like, I mean, I hate that I keep just bringing up, like, pushing it and forcing it and all those things. Like, that's when, like, that's when it just doesn't work for me. Like, it just does not work.
Yeah.
And for, like, when people ask me for advice and those kind of things, it's like, I don't want to, like, take credit for myself and stuff, because I have worked hard, but it's also, like, I don't know. I don't really feel like... Hold on, let me try to figure out what I'm trying to say. I just don't feel... Oh my gosh, it, like, left my brain. That was crazy.
Well, I think that as far as, like, on the working hard sort of idea, it's the effort in the putting forth the effort of trying things and putting yourself out there and being active, like the act of being active.
Yeah.
I think is really valuable, but it's like where that takes you a lot of times is really, or most of the time, I think that's a big unknown.
Yeah.
And the act of doing will take you somewhere. That is for sure, I think, a tried and true fact. But where it takes you is that's up to whatever the higher power sort of thing is.
No, exactly that. And thank you, because I, like, literally lost my train of thought. But it is just that I'm not trying to, like, take credit away from myself, but also I definitely feel like it's a lot less about talent and rather just about letting yourself express things. Like, I think
Totally.
it's so much more just being human than people think it is.
Yeah, completely.
Not saying that I got the best music out there. I'm just saying
But
that I love what I'm
saying
doing.
that.
I'm proud of it, and I don't feel like I worked my ass off. I'm not gonna lie, I did work my ass off for a lot of things, but I also didn't, with a lot of these new songs, on, like, what I was doing, before I was, like, 16, 17, I was just forcing it so bad to the point where I was, like, freaking out and, like, just completely hating myself so much that there was no point. There was just, it's, like, it's honestly so funny, like, looking at how pissed I got at myself over the dumbest shit, like, the dumbest shit you could think of, because it wasn't perfect, and it's definitely does not have to be perfect.
No.
As long as it feels good, and if it doesn't feel good, take a break, walk away, and come back when you're in a better place to be doing it. And
100%.
you're going to make a lot more cooler stuff that way than, sitting there and grinding it out for 12 hours and freaking out and going crazy and
big facts.
looking so fucking scary. Like, oh my gosh.
Just mini Jessica going into a fit of rage.
That, honestly, that was like an angry chihuahua. Like, I never want anybody to see that part of myself. It's scary.
That's all part of growth. I mean, I similarly, like, when I was a kid, like, practicing drums and I couldn't get something, I would flip the fuck out of frustration. All of this also ties into other things in our upbringings, but these are how they reveal themselves.
Yeah.
I would just, like, I would fucking punch the drums. I would, like,
but that's so much cooler. Like, at least you got,
but
like...
it's, like, also embarrassing.
It's a little bit embarrassing, but at least you had, like, some cool
it's
instrument
quite
to
cringe.
look like a... Like, like you're, At least you looked cool while doing it. I literally was
No.
freaking out because I sounded like Elmo, and it literally turned it into an angry Elmo. It was scary. At least I wish I had
sadly, we'll
something
never
other.
see that.
Probably will. Just wait till I break.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
wait
yeah.
till the mask comes off.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, I so glad to be working with you, and just one of the most coolest,
Ditto.
talented people
Majorly.
ever. And I just, yeah, like it just works. And yeah, another thing where like I feel like I didn't feel like I had to force, and there wasn't a lot of pressure when we first started making music, and it just worked. It just worked because cool ass songs, some of my favorite songs I've ever written, yeah, were there. And yeah, I'm so happy about how life's turning out.
Same.
Great.
Second all of that. And yeah, I mean, I think that we're, well, one, like you said, like we're both grateful. I'm grateful for you, and we just have great community
Yeah.
around us. And I
100%.
think that that's something that as I get older, I'm learning the value of, is having that really strong community
Oh my gosh.
around us, and we have that, and that's such a
So lucky. Like, just so
great
lucky.
thing. Yeah, it's so lucky, so fortunate, blessed, however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
And we're also all of those things, luck, grateful, fortunate to be able to do this and to have been able to come across each other's paths.
Yeah.
And it is funny at just having done this as long as I have now. It's like us that are on a similar wavelength somehow find each other.
Yeah.
Like it's such a big world, but at the same time, it's such a small world.
It's crazy.
And we had no prior connection to each other. I'm from Arkansas. You're from the Pacific Northwest. Like it was just not to get all woo woo, but like just like the
It's
greater
weird.
sort
It's weird.
of
No,
thing.
also
Yeah.
just being like one of the only like people that like I reached back out to, because obviously there's so many like predatory, shark
Truly.
type things going on, especially when I'm, young and naive and not really knowing what I'm doing. And yeah, you were like the only one that I sent It's Milk Don't Cry to, and worked out. All good.
That means so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of
eternally
course.
grateful.
We're out here.
We are out here. So part 1, everybody go listen to Doesn't Make Any Other Sounds part 1. We've got Freeze and Flight. We've got Enemy, Know Your Worth, My Pretty Girl, This Old Dog,
Yeah.
It's Milk Don't Cry, and Rest Peacefully.
Yeah.
Those are the 6 out right now. And to follow up what Jessica was saying a few minutes ago, this is part 1. Part 2 will be coming later in the coming months, which, like Jessica said, as a bunch of you, I'm sure, already know her to have the inner diva voice. This is an important part of her that needs to be...
She needs to be released.
Yeah, and so that half of the project is coming, and it's going to be chock full of just some fucking R&B pop bangers.
Coolest
It's
stuff
gonna be
ever.
so
And it's so
sick.
different.
It's
so different
so
from the
good.
first one.
So different, so honest, but that's also the through line, I think, of all of this, is that all of it is authentically you. Like we've been saying this whole time, it's not being forced to be anybody else. It is you, which is why I think it is so so strong of a set of material. And then even just, we could go into more of this later, but this is all gonna be put together. Part 1 and part 2 are gonna be sandwiched into something really, really special. So you guys will have to come back and keep listening to find out what that's going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of good things. A lot of just insanely, just, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm just so proud of it all. And I'm so happy that I am putting out stuff that I just am so proud of. Like, just so, like, I never thought I'd be somebody to listen to myself in the car. And I have been. So I've been listening to these in the car. Same.
Because they're just so good. They're just so good.
I love them so much. Yeah.
Same. And you all will too. So if you haven't, go listen. Follow Jessiqa Jones on everywhere on the internet.
With a Q.
Check out all of it. Jessiqa with a Q. And there's going to be so much more coming.
Heck yeah.
The world is grateful for you, Jessiqa. And
thanks, guys.
finally got you on the Ben and Bren show.
I know, we did it, finally.
Brennan's not here, but that's only because we're doing it remote, and I don't know.
No.
I'm not that technologically savvy.
I think we're just lying now. He
figured it out.
Is literally right there. You have tied him up. And
I have. Yeah. Brennan
I feel bad for him.
Yeah. You should. He's being tortured as we speak.
Nah, he'll be okay.
Just kidding. No,
sure.
Brennan is off doing Brennan things. Also, Brennan has another, not to...
Oh, no, please.
Away,
no, it's so good. It's so good.
Brennan
Go ahead.
has a sick song out too, Worst of the World.
Hell yeah. Oh my gosh. It made me tear up.
We got amazing people around us.
We love it.
I'm so grateful for it.
Hell yeah.
Amazing. Jessiqa, thank you. You are a legend. And
thank you guys.
I'll be talking to you in like 30 seconds, but for the people,
no, this is it.
Go listen to all of it.
And listen, oh my gosh, in all of your projects, have you even promoted yourself for what you've been up to?
There's too many things.
Just go find him.
Just tune into all of our stuff. You'll find the stuff. You'll find
Heck
the stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Jessiqa, peace out. Ben and Bren show. See you on the flip.
Stuff you know and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Bren show.